Bear down, Chicago Bears. We've got something kind of funny as we close the final chapter on the 2023 season. We've got Jaylen Johnson making some comments about what he feels. By the way, he's not an offensive coordinator, but he is an important person on this team, and he's got an opinion about what he thinks is happening with Justin Fields. We've got some evaluation of a few players. We've got a couple more mock drafts that have just popped up. We've got some free agency. We've got a list of the free agents coming around. And I think it's just, guys, I'm getting real excited. We got another offensive coordinator that is in the pipeline. Offensive assistant Marcus Brady is scheduled to be interviewed by the Chicago Bears. So I get a sense here that they mean business this year, and hopefully that's going to translate into something awesome. And if you like this content, by the way, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell to be notified of future content, and um, leave a comment down below. We'll get to the chat in just a little while, and we'll answer any and all questions that come along the way as we do this. And with that, let's kick it off.
You're watching the Chicago Bearscast with Maddie and Bleeves, and now it's time for the show.
All right, guys. To lead this off, this is the best thing that I could possibly do to lead this off. And I think if you look here, we made a little change in some of the stuff that we're doing right here, and we're going to expand on this one just a little bit as we do it. But guys, you got to see this right here. This is the final play called by Luke Getsy for the Chicago Bears offense. And I just want to say it's absolutely bonkers to see that the final play, of course, it's a 3rd and 22, and he calls a screen to DJ Moore behind the line of scrimmage. Just fantastic. A testament to Luke Getsy. Unbelievable to see something like that happening. I think I speak for everybody when I say that we are so glad that Luke Getsy is no longer out here doing this kind of stuff here for the Chicago Bears. It's been too long coming, and just I don't want to be disrespectful to any man. I know he tried his best. I know he put in the work, but the effort was the results were just not there, and it leaves a lot of us as fans pretty frustrated with the product that we saw on the field. And I shout out Luke Getsy. Hope you find whatever it is that you're looking for, but it wasn't being an offensive coordinator. So yeah, that was a little bit. Am I taking a shot? I think so. Anyway, on to the news. Jaylen Johnson, we've got in the news. He points to coaching and a lack of playmakers as the reason for Justin Fields' stunted development. Now, I just want to say that, even if you're right, even if you are 100% correct in your assessment of what the problem is as a player on that team, you still kind of answer to the rest of the guys on that team. And it's very difficult in this situation to walk up to a Darnell Mooney or walk up to a Tyler Scott or an Equinemius St. Brown and, look at them with a straight face and high five them. And at the same time, you're giving interviews telling people that you just don't think that the people there are good enough for what you wanted to do or what you wanted to see done. So it's a very weird sort of situation. And I hope that this doesn't create any kind of controversy within the team, because that's about the last thing that the Chicago Bears would need. But it's no secret the Bears locker room is fully behind Justin Fields, while his tenure with the Bears remains nebulous. But we've taken a stance to say someone else isn't doing their job to help him. They've only looked at the positive Fields brings to the table to support him remaining on the Bears the past few seasons. Jaylen Johnson recently opened up the discussion to a different level on All Facts, No Breaks with Keyshawn Johnson. Jaylen Johnson, come on this show, man. For me, being in it, it's tough. It's hard because, the talent that's there already. kind of the situation. I think it's tough for me and him having different coordinators, different coaches, different regimes comes in and out. And I think it's truly hard to adjust as a young quarterback being able to do that. I definitely, for me, can see the talent that he has from practice, the throws he can make, the accuracy. You can definitely tell that when he's confident and when he's not confident, when he's settled in the pocket and when he's not. I feel like he looks kind of a lot different. I feel like going in and just saying, we'll just get rid of him. He's not the answer. I don't think that's it. I think it's kind of taking the easy way out and making the coaches not take accountability, because I believe the coaches have a big part in developing that quarterback. And I think that he hasn't had the opportunity to be truly developed yet, going on his third coordinator in 4 years. So I think it's honestly about the people around him. I think it starts with the quarterback coach, the offensive coordinator, teaching and molding and building him into being a quarterback. Even Mahomes, he wasn't who he was when he first came in. He was behind Alex Smith. He got built, he got molded into who he is. I think it's really about that part first. And then you get some dogs around him, an offensive line that can consistently hold up, a good running game, receivers. We got DJ, and we were building some good things on offense, but we definitely need more playmakers and guys to put him in the best position. So we got that statement coming out from Jaylen Johnson, who really, guys, I think that Jaylen Johnson really just wants to be on a winning team, and he just wants to see success from everybody who's on the Chicago Bears. I really think that that's kind of his, I think it's all he's worried about right now. Of course, Jaylen Johnson in free agency right now, hoping that we land a big time contract with Jaylen to keep this team going in the right direction. Secondary, that I think we're going to talk about some of the positions in the secondary right now a little bit later on in the show. But shout out to Jaylen Johnson. I do think that he was being factual. I don't think that it's his place to be that factual, but that's just my opinion. This, by the way, just came out. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN says that the Bears are interested in interviewing Eagles senior offensive assistant Marcus Brady. Brady worked on the same staff as Eberflus in Indy and was the OC for the Colts from 21 and 22, 21 being his best year, 9th in total points and 10th in total yards. Another candidate with OC experience. Where was this guy 2 years ago when you're bringing in Luke Getsy, and the other point that I might want to add here is Luke Getsy coming in. I seem to remember, this is going to be, I'm going to be going back and, hindsight is always 2020, but, I think it's very weird that when you have, one of these situations where you're bringing in somebody, especially from a rival team. We brought in Luke Getsy from our biggest rival, the Green Bay Packers. And when he was brought in, very odd, but it was my understanding at that time, Aaron Rodgers, incredibly frustrated with the offense. And hindsight, always being 2020, there might have been a reason why he was annoyed, or there might be a reason why he was not a fan and why he was looking to just get out. It's a weird thing, entirely. But let's see how this plays out. Marcus Brady being interviewed today, and then Joe Person says Panthers offensive coordinator Thomas Brown is meeting with the Bears about their vacant OC job, per league sources. Now, we did hear about that yesterday, but he also was looking for an interview for the Titans head coaching position. So there's a lot going on right here, maybe or maybe not on Thomas Brown. He's just another name out here right now that we're working our way through to try to find the right offensive coordinator for this offense. Now, I do want to say that there were some reports out that people were talking about if Greg Roman is the hire, then that probably means Lamar is coming back. That Justin Fields is coming back. So, I'll be interested to see what decision gets made for the Chicago Bears over the next little while. Interesting times abound, and I sure hope that we start to see something really good develop with this team, because I'm certainly excited about the future. Do want to see this OC coaching trend come to an end. I would really like to see that happen. But moving on, let's get into the free agency. And guys, we've got 25 top free agent targets for the Bears in 2024. And the number one free agent target, it looks like, according to this list, is defensive tackle Chris Jones. And I would venture to say, yeah, Yeah, that's exactly what we need. We need a defensive tackle who can command a double team on the inside. It is so easy right now for teams to play the Chicago Bears and double Montez Sweat or push him out, and he can't collapse that pocket nearly as effectively if he's got somebody who's able to stand and chip him, and that makes it very difficult for this defense to work at an optimal level. Also, Yannick Ngakoue was not getting to the quarterback. DeMarcus Walker had a few sacks towards the end of the season, but he was not really getting to the quarterback. And Gervon Dexter also was giving. Look, he was giving it his all. He's very young still, and again coming on towards the end of the year, but still not making those big moves. But defensive tackle Chris Jones is one of the best interior pass rushers in the NFL, and if the Chiefs somehow let him hit free agency, he'll be the top free agent on the board for most teams, including the Bears. So throw the kitchen sink if you can at Chris Jones. Number 2 is edge rusher Brian Burns of the Carolina Panthers. The Bears would have taken Brian Burns in the trade of number 1 last year. If Burns isn't slapped with the franchise tag, he should be a top target for the Chicago Bears. Moving on, Connor Williams. Connor Williams, probably the best center that's going to be available. Center is a pressing need for the Bears. Connor Williams is the top option set for free agency. He did tear his ACL in Week 14, which could impact his status. So we'll see how Connor is. We'll see how he does with this ACL. And if it grades out well, and if the doctors have no problems with it, then this is the guy. This is probably the man to pick up. Then you have defensive tackle Justin Madabuki from the Ravens, Antoine Winfield from the Buccaneers. Now, really like to see this pickup. Antoine Winfield Jr., top safety, expected to hit free agency, and we really need a significant replacement for Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson should be a cap casualty. He has underperformed all season long, been injured. I think we're watching a swift decline in Eddie Jackson, and I don't know, by the way, that he has any opportunity to really recover from this. I think age might finally be catching up to Eddie Jackson, and is so much better to just move on and upgrade that position, or at least get somebody in here with a little bit more in the tank, if you will. So hopefully we'll see something like that. Defensive tackle Christian Wilkins is an available option. Solid run defender, flourished as an interior pass rusher, which we do not have. We do not have an interior pass rusher. So if the Dolphins don't place the franchise tag on him, Wilkins will be the top defensive tackle on the market. Then you have Michael Pittman Jr. from the Colts, Danielle Hunter, the edge rusher from Minnesota. Then you've got Marquise Brown, wide receiver for the Cardinals. Look, significant. Almost anything that we get in free agency would be a significant upgrade at wide receiver. But I think the wide receiver most probably kind of gets solved in our latest mock draft, which we'll get to in just a few moments. Then you have Robert Hunt at the guard position, Bryce Huff, edge rusher for the Jets, Kyle Duggar for the Patriots, Josh Allen for the Jags, Geno Stone, safety for the Ravens, John Grenard for the Texans. By the way, just John Grenard is played at Louisville for a few years. My home team. Originally, I was born in Louisville. John Grenard played there for a couple years and then left as one of the first NIL players. Gabe Davis for the Bills, Mike Onwenu for the Patriots, Chase Young, edge rusher. By the way, there was a lot of talk not that long ago that Chase Young was the guy that we were going after instead of Montez Sweat, picking up Montez Sweat instead of Chase Young, and now Chase Young happens to be available. And Young is finally healthy and had one of the best pass rush win rates in the NFL. So edge rusher Josh Uche. Then we have Andre James, another center, Calvin Ridley, wide receiver for the Jags, Kevin Zeitler for the Ravens, Xavier McKinney for the Giants, Lloyd Cushenberry and Dalton Schultz round out the top 25. of needs. Of course, what we're looking for, and I would think the biggest thing that we're trying to get would be the tackle, the tackle. Oh my God, the center position kind of ironed out. Maybe even picking up a wide receiver. Definitely looking at somebody who can make plays in space. We want somebody who can get open in a short passing game, presumably because the even no matter who the quarterback is, we want somebody who's available for an outlet. I think the scheme is going to matter greatly. And sometimes in my brain, I'm looking at the old Luke Getsy offense still, and I'm thinking like, oh God, we just got to do something about getting open in this space. Maybe I'm overthinking that portion. Maybe we don't have anything to worry about in that regard, but kind of feels like it. Kind of makes me a little bit nervous when I see what the product that we had on the field last year. And maybe I don't have to worry about that, but would like to see somebody who can get open in space, which is why I've been such a fan of Malik Neighbors this entire time. Malik Neighbors, for me, was somebody who checked all of the right boxes and put his team in a position for success. And I think that probably plays out well in the NFL level for a guy of his talent and his level. But now let's move on to the draft. We got two more drafts that have popped up on the radar. We now have an updated CBS mock draft here, which has given some pretty interesting takes, and that is the number one selection overall. The Bears take Caleb Williams at quarterback, what we've been kind of expecting at this point to happen. And then number two, Drake May being taken, and then Jayden Daniels being taken by New England at number three. Arizona getting Marvin Harrison at 4. Malik Neighbors going at 5. But then what we've got, the change that we've got now is a move up by Chicago to pick up Luatu Latu, the top edge rusher in college football for UCLA. And with this, the Bears get aggressive with Ryan Poles entering year 3. And he gets the consensus top outside pass rusher to pair with Montez Sweat. Seems like a pretty good idea from what I see. Don't have any reason to doubt this. I do prefer Jared Verse. I have made that known specifically that I do like Jared Verse over Luatu Latu because I think he's got the better motor, and I think that he's got I think he overall I think he's a better option. But and you will find him way up here in the draft, by the way. So it is entirely possible that as a matter of fact, in this one, Jared Verse doesn't even show up in the first round. No, he does. Shows up at pick 27. I think that's way too low. In fact, for a lot of people, for most of the year, Jared Verse has been in the top 8. So seeing him down at 27 right now, I guess it's going to be the combine that's going to make the difference. But I'll leave it to Ryan Poles, the expert, to figure that out. Now, in another draft, another brand new mock draft, we've got the Bears trading down twice. So this one has New England Patriots picking up the number 1 overall pick, and they go with Caleb Williams, moving the Bears down. And then you have Drake May and Jayden Daniels going at number 2 and number 3. And then you have at number 4, Marvin Harrison Jr. going. Then you have the Chargers picking up Brock Bowers, and then you have Joe Alt. Then you have the Titans, and then you have from that trade you have Rome Odunze. Did I just miss something here? Yeah, we got Rome Odunze here, and then we pick up Luatu Latu. So I'm not a fan of this one at all. Look, his ability to track long passes over either shoulder makes him a deep threat defenses shouldn't underestimate. The more I watch the tape on Rome Odunze, the more I like what I see. The more I think that he is. Look, I think this is a very unique draft in that wide receivers. There are some very, very good wide receivers that are coming out in this draft. So I have no reason to doubt that these guys know what they're talking about. Ryan Poles, if this were to be a pick and he were to say this, then let's go with it, baby. And then Latu again falls out. We're obviously looking for an edge rusher, immensely talented defender. He overcame a serious potential career-ending neck injury in 2020 after transferring from Washington to UCLA. He returned to the gridiron, becoming the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. 13 sacks, 21 and a half tackles for loss. That would be an incredible get, by the way, for the Chicago Bears. Absolutely crazy what could be happening right there. So let's move on to players, and let's take a quick look here. The 10 worst offensive players in 2023. Number one, as the worst player for the Chicago Bears, is aging center Cody Whitehair. Did not have a good season at all, and spent most of his time riding the bench. Obviously, our Cody, at this point, Cody Whitehair is probably gone, but significant start time, that is a problem. Larry Borom saw significant start time and graded out as the second worst player on the Chicago Bears offense this year. Larry Borom seeing significant time, giving up significant sacks, and was not, he did not do very good at all. And then you have Jatiri Carter, who came in, was ineffective. Robert Tonyan, who missed quite a few passes, underperformed. Definitely, look, anytime you have Robert Tonyan, you make Cole Kmet look like a star, I guess is the best thing that you can say about that. Then you have Lucas Patrick, not grading out very well as well. Then you have Trent Taylor, who we barely saw on the field at all. Tyler Scott, rookie Tyler Scott, like to give him a little bit more of a pass, but he did not play very well and did not give us an upgrade. Nate Davis at right guard was a liability, coming in at number 8. Chase Claypool, the memory still lingers. By the way, I do want to add that Chase Claypool, after telling everybody that he did not want to be in Chicago and that all he needed to get going was a fresh start, went to the Miami Dolphins and proceeded to have one catch for 8 yards for the entire rest of the season. So it wasn't the Chicago Bears after all. Chase, it was always you. You were always the problem. So shout out to Chase Claypool for not even recognizing it. But he was definitely the problem. And then number 10, Equanimous St. Brown. Equanimous St. Brown graded out at 55.2. Really didn't do very much for the course of the year. And guys, if you just consider for a second, all of those players and all of what was going on that offense, it is very tough for anybody to say that the Bears had a good offensive line or wide receiving core once you take DJ Moore out of the mix. And DJ Moore, he had a record year for himself. He had his best year, but you don't have any backup to that. When you look at 81, I want to say 81% or 80% of I'm sorry, 60 something percent of the yardage that Justin Fields had was just to DJ Moore. A huge percentage. I'll just leave it at that. And that was just incredible and a testament to the fact that there are no other people on this team that are able to get open in space and make the plays other than perhaps Cole Kmet. You might want to go with Cole Kmet, but that's it. That's what you had. As a matter of fact, I think it should be pointed out, and I think it's fair to at this point out that the number 3 receiver on the team, I think, was a tie between Darnell Mooney and Roschon Johnson, the rookie running back. That's how bad your wide receiving core is at that point. And look, again, I think that Darnell Mooney put in a lot of work, and he just wasn't that good. He was just not the upgrade that we were hoping for, and it just didn't work out the way that we wanted it to. But moving on to the final topic here, Chicago position review. Chicago's ball hawking secondary took huge strides in 2023. On the 2023 stats, I just wanted to point this out. Tyreek Stevenson had 86 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 16 passes defended, 4 interceptions, 46 yards on interceptions, 2 forced fumbles in 16 games. Guys, that is fantastic. Tyreek Stevenson was just an absolute beast this year. Kyler Gordon had 61 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 6 passes defended, 2 interceptions, 0 yards on interceptions in 13 games. Terrell Smith, 49 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 6 passes defended, 0 interceptions, 0 yards on interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery in 12 games. Jaylen Johnson had 36 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 10 passes defended, 4 interceptions, 65 yards on interceptions, 1 touchdown, 1 forced fumble in 14 games. These are significant stats for both Tyreek Stevenson and Jaylen Johnson. And, not to be dismissed, Kyler Gordon was also having a pretty decent year. And then Jalen Jones, 23 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, no passes defended, no interceptions, no forced fumbles in 17 games. So he was available for every game, but and a contributor, but not great. And then you have Greg Stroman, 19 total tackles, 3 for loss, 1 sack, 1 pass defended, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble in 7 games. And then you have Josh Blackwell, 8 total tackles, 16 passes defended in 10 games. Like that's a pretty good. It's a pretty good ratio. So I think that we should probably recognize that this is a vastly improving secondary that we're watching kind of play out here. I think next year, excuse me, next year probably looks a lot better. Tyreek Stevenson going to be in his second year. Jaylen Johnson will be playing on his free agent contract. And I think that these guys represent the future of the Chicago Bears. And when you've got subs like Jaylen Jones, who was capable, was very capable, or you have a guy like Kyler Gordon, who's able to step in, or Josh Blackwell. And guys, 16 passes defended. That is a significant number. These guys may not be the greatest at tackling, but that's why you have safeties, right? So the team looked pretty good. Now, the overall outlook here for the team, A-. While the defensive backs were far from perfect, one could argue this unit took the biggest stride in 2022 and 2023. Really impressive, and you've got to give credit to those guys when speaking with the Bears radio's announcers. The work that they put out is incredible. Look out my window, even after practice for 20 or 30 minutes after those guys are still working on anything from ball skills to be able to finish and getting interceptions and little footwork nuances and different coverages. So they put in a lot of work, and they're reaping the benefits of it. So a shout out to the Chicago Bears secondary for having what is a fantastic overall season, grading out at an A-. And guys, I think the future is so bright for the Chicago Bears defense. We'd just like to see a defensive tackle, an edge rusher. Let's replace that safety, Eddie Jackson. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for the team for so many years. But it's time to move on. We've got to come up with somebody who can give us a little bit more oomph in that position. So if we can do that, then we're going to be in a great position. And since there are no comments, and we're going to end this. If anybody has any comment, you can make that comment now. And then if not, then we're going to move on and we're going to end this stream. And thank you so much for your time. I appreciate each and every one of you that you take the time to come watch me on a daily basis. Does not fall on deaf ears. So I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. And we will talk to you again very, very soon.